I get it. Some of us are just happy doing what it is we do. We're not interested in doing more, trying to do more with less.
Do you know I built a bridge once?
Sorry.
A bridge.
But if you're not like that, if you're a little bit more like me, where you associate getting more done, not with just confusing busy with meaning, but when you think of getting more done as something that is fulfilling, an accomplishment, or if you're struggling to get more done.
It went from Dills Bottom, Ohio to Moundsville, West Virginia. It spanned 912 feet above the Ohio River. 12,100 people use this thing a day.
Less time, less effort, less help, less hassle. Getting more done is the number one wish of so many of us today, but we don't know how to do it.
And it cut out 35 miles of extra driving each way between Wheeling and New Martinsville. That's a combined 847,000 miles of driving a day.
Getting more done means having more time for ourselves, for our family, to do the things we want to do, not just the things we have to do in order to survive with food and housing, but rather getting more that we can control and do. Getting more done is not just about being overly productive. It's about freedom.
So that's what? That's 134,164,800 hours, or 559,020 days. So that one little bridge has saved the people of those two communities a combined 1,531 years of their lives.
So here are 3 creativity hacks that can be applied to just about anyone in any circumstance, life or work, whatever it is, school, yes, to get more done and have more that you control. Hi, I'm James Callahan, and this is the Do-Over Show, where we work on getting more done with less. Like me, I try every day to do more and have more time for my own. And that means doing things like, well, here, I write a blog every day. I post regularly on LinkedIn. I publish poetry every single day, and I've been doing it for over 4 years. I work a full-time job in marketing and communications. I teach as an adjunct at a local university and been doing that every semester for over 20 years. I day trade and invest in securities, and I trade forex just for fun. I cook dinner just about every single night for my family. I do the grocery shopping, and yeah, hey, I do a YouTube channel just for you. So how do I have the time to do so many things and do them all the time and enjoy it?
Well, you're a better man than me.
That's always been true.
Yes, it has.
So here are my 3 hacks that I've acquired over my life to do more in order to enjoy more money, time, contentment, yes, life. So the first hack is pretty simple. It's very basic, and that is do small things right away. If you've got something like, oh, I should write that note, write the note. If you're like, I should hang up that shirt, hang up the shirt. Don't put it off. Don't make a list about it. Don't sit around. This is not about just getting over procrastination. I know it's an illness for a lot of us. But learning to do small things means that we're not despising small things. You see, sometimes we self-aggrandize and dramatize our lives into it needs to be something huge and magnificent in order to motivate us, instead of just learning to do small things and building the habit of not despising small things. Or learn that there is value in being faithful in little things so that you'll be faithful in larger or bigger or more important things. So that is learning to enjoy the small things and getting them done or out of the way. Oh, and the other thing about doing things right away is something that we learned, my wife and I learned when we were raising our kids. We've got 5 kids, grown, wonderful kids. And we saw other people, and you probably experienced this, that when a parent or a guardian said, hey, stop doing that, or don't do that, or I'm going to start counting. We decided we're not going to ask our kids to do something unless we're willing to get up, go over, and have a very personal conversation with them. Hey, that's not something we do in groups like this. That's not the words that we say. Or it's better if you do this. Or what else can we do? How can we solve this problem? Instead of yelling from across the room, stop it or I'm going to count. I have a friend who actually does this. She said, I'm going to count to 0. And everybody around her freaks out, including me. But the idea is get up and do it right away. That brings me to the second thing that I've learned, and that is done is better than perfect. Whether it's in creativity or whether it's something that you're working on, that you have a project around the house, in your life, yourself, done is better than perfect. Now, if you're in the creative work, every single thing you do will be submitted to someone for approval, unless you're just running your own business. Everything will be edited. And even people who have no clue what they're talking about will feel the need to edit so they can prove that they're doing the job. The reason why we don't just do things to get them done is that we're often confused by our ego. We think, oh, this has to be perfect because so much of me is tied up in this. No, get over yourself. You're producing work product. Most of it is technical, or it fits into a technical scheme. And whether you're writing copy or you're designing things or whether you're doing brand campaigns, done is always better than perfect. And by the way, you can change it later. And you can get out of your own way. What keeps us from hitting publish or submit or sharing it with other people is our ego, not the quality of the work. It's the quality we assign to it ourselves. That's an ego problem. And done is better than perfect. Learning that as a routine will get over the embarrassment, the insecurities, get over our own ego, and get things done in life. The third hack is learn to learn. Learn to read, learn to study, learn to take a course, learn to do your work in a way that actually improves your ability to do your work. So when you study or when you do something or when you create something, if it takes you an hour to do it the first time, the goal is that it will take you a half hour, maybe 45 minutes to do it the next time. Why? Because you've acquired a familiarity with a skill set or tools or your own capacity to do things. If you do things and it takes you longer to do it a second or a third or fourth time, each time you do it, you're not learning.
You're unlearning, you're dislearning, you're mallearning, you're not learning.
Learning to learn is one of the most difficult features. And here's the problem. In our education, in public schools, private schools, colleges, universities, I've been there. I've been on both sides of the desk, teaching, lecturing, presenting. I've been involved in postgraduate seminars as well as earning a Ph.D. And the one thing I know most of us don't do is we don't learn how to learn. That could be learning to take notes or learning to read a book. You don't have to read every word, memorize every word. You don't need a photographic memory. You need to learn, for example, why was a book written? When you learn that, if you have a course, college course, and a teacher, a professor assigns a book, your number one job is to figure out why that book was assigned by figuring out why that book was written. What's different about this book? What is it about this book that made the teacher assign it? And you can just ask them, office hours, go and say, hey, I'm really interested in this book. Can you tell me why you assigned it? What are we looking for? What am I going to get out of it? And in that conversation, you'll learn why it is the book was assigned, why it is the book was written, why it is that the author thought that another book on the Salem witch trials, after 12,000 of them had been written, why this one was necessary, and why a publisher thought it's worth publishing. Really? The 12,001st book on the Salem witch trials? Yep. Figure that out and you'll begin to learn what learning is. Now, in the workplace, sometimes that means learning what you can get away with or learning what the boss wants. And this is a different way of learning, and that is learning to cover your ass. It's not healthy and it doesn't help you. It's just a form of escape or negligence or passive aggressiveness. Learning how to learn means figuring out what triggers you, what sets you off, what gets you excited. And by the way, it doesn't mean that you have to sit there for 4 hours to be something serious. Sometimes the best 10 minutes of an hour are the 10 minutes you actually pay attention, not the 50 minutes you're scrolling on your TikTok or Instagram. Learning how to learn is the third most critical area of learning to do more so that you can have more that's in your control. So what are the things that you do? What are the hacks that you do every single day in order to do more with less? Share them. We need to know. I've given you my 3. You've probably got a couple. Come on, share them. Let's figure it out together. Hey, and thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. I'm so glad you were here. Please, could you tap the like button because it really helps. And while you're down there, how about you subscribe and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss the next episode. I'm so glad you found me and I found you. Thanks.